Well, hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of the Play Therapy Community Podcast. You are definitely someone that's a mentor of mine and a great teacher. I've learned so much from you, and I am inspired by you in so many ways. Recently, I had a chance to see you at the New York Association for Play Therapy conference, and it was magnificent as always. And one night I got a chance to go out to dinner with you and some other people. And at that dinner, you shared a story that has literally impacted my soul. It was so beautiful, and it was so profound on so many levels. From like humanity level, it was amazing. From a professional level, my mind is like just reeling with like what actually happened in that sequence of events. So I'm excited to have a conversation with you about it and just share it with others.
Um, Thanks, Jackie. And um, I know we'll talk about the story, and I'll share the story. And it's a vulnerable story, and it's a deeply uh, intimate, personal story.
Yeah.
And I think that there's just a beauty in just being asked to tell to tell a story that's just that significant. So thanks for creating a space for my story.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, it's one of those stories that's just a deep part of my own life. So thank you.
Thank you for coming on and sharing it. When you say personal, and I think people understand once they hear it, it's perhaps one of the most personal, intimate, most beautiful, connected stories that I've ever experienced. And it really ties into much of what I've learned from you about how to connect deeply, not just in my professional practice with my clientele, but as a human being within like myself, with my family, with my friends, and you just took it to a different level that I was even aware could occur. So thank you, Lisa.
You're
And it's all
welcome,
about
Jackie.
turtles.
And people are like, where are they going to go with this?
Before we get started, could you just share just a little bit about like who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm Lisa. I am the creator of Synergetic Play Therapy. I'm also the founder of the Synergetic Play Therapy Institute and the co founder of the Synergetic Education Institute. And I do all kinds of things. I teach, I've got my podcast, I've written a book, and I'm a mom, and that's significant for the story here, too. So, I'm a mom to a 17-year-old. So and
Oh,
a 7-year-old cat.
and a 7-year-old cat.
Yeah, gotta include Sophia.
Oh, I think I've seen Sophia in some pictures. I think I
Yes.
first met you back in 2008, no, maybe 17. I've reached out to you just to be a guest on the podcast, just to learn about synergetic play therapy. I'd heard of it. And then when I spoke with you, I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know play therapy could go to this level. And my mind has been blown ever since. So, yeah, I mean that little snippet of what how you described yourself, it doesn't even begin to describe the magnitude of your presence in our play therapy community and on our world.
Thanks, Jackie. Yeah.
All right. All
So,
right.
all right.
So the story, we were sitting
Yeah.
there at that table in that fancy restaurant,
All
and
right.
you asked Annie, you said you want, we said something about turtles. So Annie Monaco's like, let's go somewhere and see some turtles. And you're like, I have a story. And then
A
it
turtle
started there,
story.
a turtle
Yeah,
story.
a turtle story. Yeah. Um, so the story is about my relationship with my mom and then my relationship with my daughter. So the story has a lot of mothering kind of energy into it.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, the beginning of the story was August of 2019. At the end of August, my mom unexpectedly passed away. And, I lost my footing and I was disoriented. And there was so much that happened for me, even just questioning my time and what did that mean for me. And so much of my life at that time was wrapped up in being a daughter and taking care of my mom and helping her in many ways. And so there was just this real big void on many levels when my mom passed, but a real sense of disorientation. And I, part of my practice, as you know, is I deeply work to trust myself,
Yeah.
and I deeply work to trust my own intuition and where I'm being led. And I just had this sense that I need to go to water. I need to go to water. And my next opportunity for that was over our Thanksgiving break. I was going to be solo for the week. It was actually my mom and I were supposed to spend Thanksgiving together that week, while
Oh,
my daughter was going to be with her dad over that Thanksgiving break. And
uh-huh.
so here I was solo for Thanksgiving. And again, I knew I needed to get to water. And again, just trying to follow like some sense of intuitive thread.
Yeah.
I also needed to go far away, and I needed to go somewhere I'd never been before. And so,
Mm.
totally randomly, I found myself at the Seychelles Islands, which, if someone's watching doesn't know where the Seychelles Islands are, you have to fly to Ethiopia in Africa, and then you have to catch an hour and a half flight out into the middle of the ocean. Um, I had not heard of the Seychelles Islands before I even started doing research on where I could even go. So it was that random in
Yeah.
some ways that I found myself there. And then the next kind of intuitive place again, not random or very random seemingly, was that I knew I needed to be on a boat, which I don't usually spend time on boats. I
Yeah.
I don't have like a sailing history in my life or
Hmm.
something, but I found myself sailing on a sailboat for a week at the Seychelles, and very different. Very, again, just trying to find my way and find my mom. I think is probably a better way of saying that. So I felt pretty lost. And then here's where the magic really starts to begin. Is I woke up Thanksgiving morning, and I was sitting at the front of the boat, just looking out at the water. We kind of docked in this cove for the night, and I noticed something come up out of the water onto the shore. And the captain also noticed, and he grabbed his binoculars, and sure enough, it was a mama turtle
Yeah.
that was making her way up onto shore. And we knew she was going to lay her eggs. And so I grabbed my snorkel, and I jumped in the water and totally just swam as fast as I could, and probably, I mean, just a couple of feet, like not very far at all. In fact, closer than here in the door, closer
Oh,
than
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, I sat with a mama turtle for 45 minutes while this mom was in labor, and it was really me being her external regulator, right? Like during her
Wow.
birthing process. So this mama turtle was just in her own space and like contractions and feeling her way. And I just sat there and like breathed with her and like moved with her and just like held space. And I also just knew I was just being enveloped in mom energy,
Yeah.
at the time, which was why I had gone to try to connect with myself and the loss of my mom. And then,
Uh-huh.
as I shared with you in the story, because you can't make this stuff up. As soon as the turtle finished, covering up the eggs and making her way back down to
Oh,
the water, this like mist showed up, and this like perfect rainbow, showed up in the sky, and it was a moment when I deeply knew I was going to be okay. And more specifically, my mom in that moment went from something out here to an internalized sense of her inward in my own being. And I realized that my mom, that I was my mom. And I made the connection that my mom, and when she was much younger, part of her joy in life, she was a dive master and she spent time on the sailboats. And I was like, oh, got it. Some part of me drew me to the boats so I could literally be my mom or feel my mom's energy and kind of the essence of who she was. And so um, there's another part of the story here that's coming, but that was the beginning of, I knew I was okay. The disorientation started to settle for me, and my mom moved from out here to something in here. So my time went from, Mom, let's go snorkeling, and I would jump in the water and almost like, Mom, like let's, I would look at the fish with her, if that makes sense, right? Just having her continue to live through me. So significant moment and shift for me after my loss with her. Well, the following Thanksgiving, I found myself once again solo. And this time I went to Mexico because once again I felt called back to the water. Excuse me. And I met up with a friend when I was down there. And on Thanksgiving morning, my friend was like, "What do you want to do today?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know. What are we going to do?" And my friend said, "Hey, I heard up the road there's a place where you can go and you can release baby turtles back into the ocean." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, it's time to complete the cycle." Right? So the last time I was with the mama and we were, laying the eggs, and now it's time to be hatched and time for the babies to make their way to the ocean. And so that's what I did. And it was um, uh, such a profound experience to go and have the turtles, like, put in they put them in a bowl, and then you move the bowl and have them move out. But it was this amazing experience of, like, once again holding space, but holding space for now the babies, of, like, same thing, like trying to co-regulate with the babies as the babies now are trying to make their way back into the ocean, and like, you got this, like, you got this. I sang them happy birthday as I was taking them to the water, and just like bawled my eyes as they were, making their way into the ocean. But it was just this profound feeling of a completion of a cycle. And I want to go one step further. I don't remember if I told you this part, but my daughter being 17, I'm very connected to the feeling of the turtles with her, and she, to me now at this stage, feels once again like the baby turtle that's about to be hatched, that's about to make her way right to the ocean. um, and I am in such this, like, mama turtle protective energy of, like, clear the way, clear the space, like, go, go, like, I got, like, just like, just creating this place and this space. And um yeah, just a deep felt sense of being with another, and in this case it was sea turtles.
So many things, Lisa. That is so very beautiful. I'm thinking about, you may hear some scraping in the background. Somebody's on the other wall making some noise. Um, I'm thinking about, like, you are so nervous system informed, and that intuitive sense that you had to go so far away to a place that you'd never even known existed, to get on a boat, to be there right at that very moment. No one could have known that that mama turtle was going to be there, even if you had planned it. I'm wondering if your connection within yourself allowed you to listen to that in a way that could be felt and kind of, just followed. And then the other piece of like how that kind of circles around to your own daughter. I know your Gestalt background, and I think about like it's just that capacity to be able to see things through that lens and to be able to have peace with her going out and apply it to that story. I mean, so many pieces going through my mind. What are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think your depth of knowledge in within helped you? Because we just had a similar experience at that training where you did a case consultation role play in front of everyone, and you had that intuitive sense that I don't think I've never met anybody that connected within.
Mhm. I I've just learned to feel. I don't, I've just learned like I have such belief in my body. And not necessarily, and when I say that, it's not like that my body will work well, like whatever that means. I just have belief that my body's talking to me, and my body's telling me all kinds of different things, like way to go, Lisa, or try again. Not quite the most congruent decision you just made, Lisa, right? And but my body's just continually speaking. And I also really do believe in the power of metaphor in life. And so I look for it. I look for it. I search for meaning because I believe that life is incredibly meaningful. I know that Viktor Frankl's someone that you really deeply connect with, and I do as well. And I really believe that life, the our own, how do I say this? Our own experience or quality of life is so dependent upon the deep layers of meaning we give to it. And so I could have just looked at it as, oh yeah, I'm gonna just go sail on a boat. And oh, isn't that cute and cool? I saw a turtle. And oh wow, like that's cool. Now I get to, and I could have just gone through the motions of the facts. Or I can go, why was I drawn here? Let me assume that's not random. Why today on this day with this turtle in this way? Why? Why? For me, why? You know, why was this the right time? Why was this the perfect location? Why was that the perfect interaction? Why did I need to be there? What was the meaning in that for me? And I look for that, we'll go even more full circle here. So who knows if this is what'll end up transpiring, but right now the place where Avery, my daughter, is thinking about going to college the most is Hawaii, right? And so I'm like, okay, I already gave you this metaphor. I'm already viewing her as the little turtle and me like holding space and like this whole thing. And we show up in Hawaii and we check into our room, and I walk in, and the first thing I see on the wall is a picture of two turtles swimming together.
Oh my goodness. Synchronicity.
Right, exactly. And it's like I could go, oh, well, of course, because that's, because Hawaiian turtles. I could go, yeah, but not every single room has turtles. Maybe some have a beach, some have a boat, some have a whatever. But whether that wasn't every room, why did I need to see it? Do you know what I mean? Why did that need to be on my radar? And what it did was it helped me be more mindful that I'm here in transition here with her. I'm here holding space as she gets curious about what those waters look like on the other end. And so how do I stay a little more present with her, a little bit more spacious with her? How do I hold room for all the emotions that are coming up in her and me? It's just like how do I stay a little bit more connected? So I know it's a long answer to your question, but I think it just speaks to I just have a real deep trust in life, in the feedback of my body, um, and even when things happen, like my mom's passing, there's a beauty in her passing.
Yeah.
There's challenges too, but excuse me, you know, uh, there were gifts in it for me as well. And there's meaning in my mom passing for me. And there's growth in my mom's passing. And I
Hmm.
know some people may think that and go, and it's like, well, uh, no, it's an event in my life that was very painful,
Yeah.
but also transformed me. And
Yeah.
if I cannot find meaning in that transformation, then I don't honor my mom's passing. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So being able to appreciate through that pain, you are so congruent because this came out even in that business of therapy training, like who you are needs to be authentically you. The good stuff or the challenging things, the things that feel good, like all of it goes into where you are and who you are. And even your mom's passing. That's beautiful. And I think about death being part of life, but you experience life and death on so many levels.
Every day,
Wow.
right? Like, I mean, like every day. I mean, so my birthday's coming up next month, and I mean, I'm holding the question: what part of me died this year? What part of me is being birthed this next
Oh,
year? Right? So I'm not the same like I'm not the same person heading into my next birthday as I was a year ago heading into this birthday.
yeah.
I'm not. Some parts of me have died.
And sometimes that's an excellent thing.
Right? But right?
Yeah.
Right? And then there's new parts of me that are really wobbly. There's a parts of me that feel like the little turtle that's like, I think I'm gonna make it. I'm trying to make it, right? I've got those parts that are baby parts that I'm trying on. And then yeah, I've got old parts that are done, that
Yeah.
don't need to be as loud in my inner world, or
Mm,
really just take a back seat and have their own sort of death, so to speak. Not that I don't believe we actually ever lose a part, but don't have to be dominant in my inner world. I believe that to be true. I see it. So yeah, there's life and death happening, or
mm,
transformation is really. I mean, that's really what it was all about. It was just my mom just it was just transformation. My mom didn't die.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, exactly. She
She's
didn't she
right
didn't
inside of
die.
you.
Yeah, she went inside of me. And in some ways I know her more now than I ever did,
Wow.
because of that. And I understand her in a way that I didn't when she was present, and alive. Um, and my journey of sort of completing the cycle, um, you know, that's just transformation.
Yeah.
Avery moving off to college is not losing her,
Yeah.
just transformation.
It's growth, like you transformed. Wow, that is beautiful. One part of the story that really stood out for me was when the mama turtle was giving birth, was laying the eggs, there was a struggle
Oh
and
yeah,
you breathed with her. And I
yeah,
think about like anybody who's seen synergetic play therapy could see this beautiful, like shared experience that
yeah,
I think you can't really explain it in words.
yeah.
It is a felt experience. I'm thinking that Mama Turtle had the best midwife on the planet.
She was she was so tired. Let's actually talk about that for a minute, because that was actually really significant, because I'm watching this mama turtle, and she's exhausted. Like,
Yeah.
she is pushing and she is straining, and her little face is like
Oh,
in pain, totally. And she is just she's bringing her babies into the world. And there's the part of me that's looking at, like, wanting to be like, can I help? You know what I mean?
Like, let me pull. Where's the forceps?
Like, can I pat the sand down on top of the, like, because here's the thing. I don't know if you know this. So not only she's got to get up there, and then she's got a shell on, Jackie.
Wow.
And she got little legs sticking out the side, right? And somehow, with the shell, she's got to find a way to make a hole.
Wow. All
And
that in
then,
the middle of
and then,
everything.
totally. And then she's got to lay her eggs
Oh,
in the hole. And then, still with a shell,
yeah.
she's got to find a way to bring the sand back in and then pat it down on top of the eggs.
Wow.
So after she gave birth, because that's hard enough,
Yeah.
then she had to come up with a whole other layer of energy to then protect them and keep them safe, right? Right? And so, yeah, there's that urge of like,
I'm gonna do it for you.
I could speed this up for you.
Tell me what you need, Mama.
Tell me what you like. I can help. I push the sand with you. You know what I mean? But then there's that piece, and I think this is the parallel in play therapy of the kids don't want us to rescue them.
Oh.
Right? And in fact, if we tried to rescue them, we'd actually disempower them. So really the question that we're being asked to be with is, can I just sit with the mama turtle? Right? And
Yeah.
can I let mama turtle borrow my nervous system? Can I let her, the moment she's exhausted, can she borrow the part of me that's like, I believe in you. I believe in you, right? Like mama, you got this, and I'm right here and you're not alone, right? You're not alone in your struggle. Can we hold that space for mama turtle? But it's that same space we're holding for the child of like, this child might be deeply suffering.
Yeah.
But it's not my job to get in there and make the suffering go away. In fact, if I do that, I'm probably going to disturb the innate wisdom of their process.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, how do I be with the child and hold space rhythmically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Helping the child know I'm with them so that they're not alone in their suffering, but the child still has to be the one to do the work, or else I take their transformation away from them.
Wow, that's powerful. That's so powerful. It makes me think of that butterfly analogy where the person seeing the little emergent butterfly struggle. So did the equivalent of like a C-section and clipped it, and then the butterfly fell out but didn't get the blood to the wings.
Okay.
So you were with her,
Yeah.
which you had that shared experience,
Yeah.
which in essence is like that reduces pain in itself.
Yeah.
But it leaves I can do hard things, the resilience. I got this, that the kid or whoever, the turtle, whoever needs it long after we're not there.
Totally. And then even as mama's walking back, it wasn't just me that saw the rainbow.
Oh gosh, this is so beautiful.
Right?
Oh,
Mama gets to look up and see the rainbow.
oh, wow. And all that happened. And then she returned back to the sea.
And then
That's
she just
beautiful.
has to trust.
Wow. Wow. Gosh, I'm experiencing, I can't even speak. That is beautiful. All the feels. That does bring me to kind of thinking about something we talked about earlier that day about, okay, so when we learn about attachment, we think about attaching to people. And then we consider like the power of animals. But one thing that you kind of posited, which sounds so like amazing, is that can we connect that deeply to nature itself? We know like the power of the planet. We know like there's so much pull and push and equilibrium and being able to literally be grounded. Can nature itself, like not a mammal, can nature itself be either co-regulator or external regulator, which I know we share a love for nature-based play therapy. Can you speak about that a little bit? That's beautiful.
yeah, so let's take me out of the equation and just look at this from the perspective of the mama turtle,
Yeah.
right? So as I know I'm using my imagination here, but make a point. So as mama turtle is hitting exhaustion, here
Yeah.
comes the mist,
Ooh.
right? And mama turtle feels the mist and knows that she's not alone,
Oh,
right?
the
So
mist is her connector, is her it
yeah,
cools her off.
or
It's helping
something.
her equalize
Yeah, or
homeostasis.
just the felt sense of the sand, as she's feeling the sand and feeling, right? Like she's
Yeah.
creating a hole in there, right? So the sand is also like you almost think of it like the sand is holding her as she's creating the hole to hold the babies, right? So there is even in that, Mama Turtle's getting some proprioceptive input,
Yeah.
that so she's mama's getting held even just there. And so, um, totally, right?
Wow.
Um, uh, take the turtle out of the equation, and let's say that it had just been me that decided I want to swim and sit on the beach this morning,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving morning. Well, as I'm sitting there, well, the mist would have come in for me too,
Ooh.
right? So, does the mist have a nervous system? No. Does it have a rhythm? Yes.
Hmm.
So, might that have helped me become aware of myself? Well, it did. You know,
Hmm.
might it help me tune into myself a little bit more? It did. Might it help me, access ventral a little bit more? It did. So like in that moment, nature was regulating me. After that, I mean, I very, very viscerally can feel the swim back to the boat,
Wow.
and uh, when you're in an ocean and you're swimming and you go through pockets of it's cool, it's warm, it's cool, it's
Yes.
warm.
Hmm.
Okay, that is deeply regulating,
Yeah. It's like a
right?
rhythm in the temperature almost, like a pattern.
Well, exactly. And so my body's feeling that. It's waking up and then it's sort of
Yeah.
and then whoa,
Ooh.
you know what I mean? And that's my swim back. So right, the
Thermoception.
right, exactly. Right?
That's so incredible. Oh my
So it's
goodness.
like, you know, um, if so let's put me at age 2, and I grew up by the water, and I spend time by the water, and I spend time just wading in small shallow parts of water safely, right? I'm
Yeah.
2, but I feel the rhythm of the waves, or I hear the sound of the ocean, or I feel those pockets of hot and cold.
Hmm.
I, that's going to have an effect on the imprint of my nervous system.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. And it's so sensory rich and so whole body. I'm thinking the integration power of it is pretty powerful. Did you notice a shift after you returned home? And I know grief is so, yeah,
Huge.
what'd you notice afterwards?
I was here again,
Oh,
right? Because I got disoriented, and we talk about when something is outside of our window of tolerance, right? We disconnect from ourselves. Well,
mm,
the unpredictable nature of my mom's passing was a shock in my system,
yeah.
and I went into some level of numbing, but also some level of overdrive as
Yeah.
well, because all of a sudden I won't get into the details around there was a lot that had to get done
Yes.
to manage what had happened and the timing and then all
Oh,
this kind of
yes.
stuff. There
Hmm.
was so much, right? And so there was a little bit of not a little bit, there was a lot of it of me, dot i's cross t's.
Yeah.
Right? Dot i's cross t's, dot i's cross
A
t's,
lot of
trying to
cognitive
yeah,
requirements.
and
Yep.
also and
Yeah.
then trying to find moments of feeling, knowing that that there was probably some level of, well, I knew there was some shock in my system, so we know some level of numbing, some
Mhm.
some dissociative experiences, in the body and that kind of thing. And so it was a combination of like trying to remind myself to feel and to ground and to pause, and then also and then
Yeah.
finding and uh, it was a rhythm like that, but I didn't feel myself.
Mm.
I didn't,
Wow.
didn't feel myself.
In Mother Earth. I mean, so many levels of Mother Earth, but Mother Earth
I
was,
want to go into the next. I mean, I know I talk about meaning. I'm in a boat. I'm in a sailboat. Jackie, what that means is I'm sleeping and I'm sleeping like this.
oh, you're bilateral. Your
Yes.
rhythm.
Even the sailboat is rocking me.
Oh my goodness. It's
Right?
the
It's
best
just like
therapeutic experience.
like totally. It's like, and we're just gonna be in and well, I know that you've slept in cabins, and it's like a little dark little
Yeah.
room down there with like
Yeah.
a little window to look out, right? So I'm literally then, we're talking about, kind of going back to finding my imprints, and here I am on this boat,
Back and forth. Oh my goodness.
in my little womb room, just just being
And it
rocked.
doesn't stop. It might get more or less, but it keeps. I used to live on a boat for 7 years, sailboat.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, got it.
Sailing vessel, Lady Jacqueline. I had my baby, like I didn't have the baby on the boat, but from the time he's 17 months old. But yeah, wow, that's amazing. So you had the rhythm of being on the boat on the way out there. You swam in to see the turtle. You were the external regulator. And I wonder, could that be considered like like co-regulation at some point when the turtle connected with you? Or do you think she was aware of your presence?
Um, yeah.
Mm. So you had this co-regulation, then the mist, then the swimming, hot, cold, back on the boat, back home, and it's integrated. My goodness, the cycle of life. That's
Oh,
she's
totally.
the
Exactly. 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 I'm just like, yeah, rhythm.
this story is so very powerful. I can't tell you thank you enough for sharing it with me once, but even twice and sharing it here. I don't know, it gives me some kind of, I don't even know how to explain it, like a depth of understanding of humanity, more than humanity, of just our existence together on this planet.
You know what? I mean, there's such metaphor, right, in the story, but I think we all have these stories, even if they're not so obvious in metaphor. And
Hmm.
I think that, I mean, just for anyone listening, it's like take one significant story in your life and just look at it deeply. Like look for the meaning in it. Look for the metaphor in it. Look for the synchronicity in it. You know, ask like why then? Why in that way? What was the and I think that we can if we I believe that we could take any moment, even this moment right now, Jackie, you and me, and if we slowed a moment down, we could we could find answers to so many of life's questions if we just slowed down any moment. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Any moment.
That reminds me of okay, so at the time of this recording, Dr. Mary Fee had posted that she read the Gratitude Effect book. And you know how amazing she is. I was like, oh, I'm going to get that book because she said how good it was. So here I am, like in the middle of the grocery store, like putting it on my Audible. And then I seen where you responded that that had a big influence on your life. And he's one of your teachers and mentors. And I started listening to it, and it had just even, I'd say I'm like an hour into it on Audible, even like being grateful for all the really hard stuff, being grateful for like the hardest of things, it changes your life. And you wouldn't be like, he tells a story of lady that her son was in this dirt bike accident, and he wouldn't be where he is today if that hadn't happened and have his impact on the world. So, I mean, I wouldn't be right now at the time of this recording. I'm in an Airbnb in the most beautiful spot that I know on the whole planet to write my book. I wouldn't be in this place if I hadn't had a series of events that made it to where I was single and had options. That's incredible. Just slowing time down.
I wouldn't be having this moment of connection with you if my mom hadn't passed away.
Oh,
No, but really,
yeah.
you know, it's like if I'm going to really be grateful for what is right now in
Yeah.
this moment, then what were the things that led up to this? And again, I think sometimes when people hear that, they're like, "Oh, you're dismissing the pain." No, it's actually both. Both can be true. I can go, "That was freaking hard.
Yeah.
That was hard." And it still has moments for me where I'm like, "Ooh," right? And that's not the totality of the story, right? The other part of the story is there were other things that transpired as a result. And there are things that I'm experiencing now as a result that never would have happened.
Yeah.
And I think that a real honoring of life is just that honoring of life. And life isn't one-sided.
And
So if I'm gonna be grateful for my life,
be grateful for your life, all of it.
grateful for my life.
Oh, amor fati. That's read about that in one of the books from Ryan Holiday. Be grateful for all of it, whatever it took to get to what's happening at this moment. Wow, Lisa, you're amazing. Woo. Such good stuff. I really appreciate you sharing this story. It's forever going to be on my heart and on my mind. And I think the big shift towards being grateful for everything is going to be transformative in itself.
Find meaning.
Find meaning. All right. Bye, Lisa.